Heyo, and what is up, gang? Thank you for checking out Sledgehammer TV tonight. You know, Smackdown tonight started out with something rather interesting, but it didn't take long for them to take that interesting idea and turn it into something we definitely do not want to see. And we are going to talk about all of that and all of the other things wrong with tonight's episode of Suckdown on Fox. Right here and right now, my name is Nick Nightmare, and you are watching the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show's Friday Night SmackDown Review and Reaction Show. Let's do it.
The Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
Where do we even begin with a show like tonight's Suckdown? Do we begin with the completely disastrous women's division? Do we begin with the obligatory holiday tag team extravaganza featuring Christmas trees and cookies and Christmas hams that are more over than both teams that are actually in the ring competing? The crowd gave more of a shit about a ham, a Christmas ham given to Otis by Mandy Rose. That was the main focus of that tag team matchup for the crowd right here in New York City tonight. Or should we begin with King Constable Baron Dickhead Corbin and how he's seemingly feuding with everybody in the company? We've had to stomach his nonsense with the big dog, Roman Reigns, for the last God knows how long, and now he wants Bray Wyatt's Universal Championship, so he's going after him. He's going to go through Daniel Bryan and The Miz to do so. He's just going to take on everybody that he wants. He's going to do whatever he wants because he's the king. He thinks he deserves a WWE Universal Championship opportunity because he beat Roman Reigns, and I'm asking, on what planet does that qualify as something that's a prerequisite to your path to the Universal Championship? Is Roman Reigns the number one contender at this moment? Was Roman Reigns next in line for Bray Wyatt now that he lost at TLC? Is he bumped by King Dickhead himself? That doesn't make any sense. How about maybe, I won the King of the Ring. That should give me an automatic shot at some championship gold. That would make a little bit more sense. At least that's what it used to be like back in the day when you were a King of the Ring. When you won the King of the Ring, it meant something. You got a shot at the champion at some point. You didn't just walk around looking like a buffoon, talking like a jerk-off, telling us a whole lot of stupid, corny jokes, and just bringing the whole quality of the show down. The guy is just in everything. He ruined a perfectly good opening segment that actually had my interest, and all that did was lead to him being in another main event with his little dwarf buddy Dolph Ziggler. I don't know why I called him a dwarf, and I certainly don't care because that's what he is to me. He's just like a dwarf. He's little, he's insignificant, and he's just there. And for what? For what? For nothing to end up happening by the time it's all over. We're going to get the final Suckdown of the year to have a triple threat match featuring King Dickhead versus Daniel Bryan and The Miz, and the winner's going to get a shot at Bray Wyatt. Or should we talk about how this show went off the air 3 minutes before 10 p.m. just as Bray Wyatt started to turn the lights out in the arena and finally got our attention on this show? Something worth watching before the first 5 minutes ruined by Constable Corbin, and then just sent this show into a tailspin that it would seemingly never recover from. It was tag team extravaganza night. Every match seemingly a tag team match or a women's match. Both divisions are an absolute mess. Let's take case in point the women for tonight. The women had way too many matches. And it's not because that the women's division doesn't have enough competition, which is true. But it's not because we have to see the same shit every single week over and over, which is true. But it's because most especially, you booked a match tonight that we seen last week. Dana Brooke versus Bayley. And this match didn't need to exist. The only reason this match existed on this card, and they seemingly forgot about last week, was so that they can have a viable reason for Lacey Evans to come out and try to save Dana Brooke. And this didn't need to happen. You had Lacey Evans and her daughter in the arena. They had a little segment where they showed Lacey Evans in the back with her daughter and Alexa and Nikki. And right there, you should have had Sasha Banks come in, start some shit with Lacey Evans right in front of her daughter, so that this way you could have that real emotional moment during Sasha Banks' match with Lacey Evans tonight, where Sasha did that really cool thing, probably the only cool thing that happened on this night, where she got into the face of Lacey Evans' little girl with Lacey Evans as she was beating her down, and the little girl was making all these little mad faces, and she was getting pissed off at Sasha Banks, and Sasha Banks was making this little girl all upset, and it was great. It was good TV. But did we need to sit through Dana Brooke and Bayley for a second time to get to that? There was an easier way to do that. I just illustrated it to you. One little backstage confrontation is all you needed. Dana Brooke is getting a rematch simply because she asked for one on Twitter? Is that how we go about things? She lost to the champion. You go to the back of the line. You were lucky to have that first match to begin with. There was no need for this at all. So it makes you wonder. What else makes you wonder? It makes you wonder, why is Carmella beating Sonya Deville in less than 5 minutes? You know, there's a tremendous upside to Sonya Deville. The girl even showed tonight, in the limited time she was given, she is tough. She's got something there that the WWE should be grasping onto. I'm absolutely shocked that they are not taking the first openly gay female wrestler and pushing her with a rocket pack to the top of the heap. It's a great PR maneuver. It would bring eyes to the company. It would gain some positive political favor to the WWE. And sure, it might be a little bit agenda-ish, but it would at least be different. And I don't see why she couldn't be somebody in the division that you should be fearing. Somebody that should be out there and kicking ass. Not going out there and getting squashed by Carmella. I don't give a shit if she's a multiple-time champion, she's a Money in the Bank winner and all the... I don't care about her bullshit accolades. Sonya Deville right now is new. She's fresh. She should be being built up. She should be being put above talents like Carmella. She should be being put over by talents like Carmella, and not in 5 minutes. Let these girls show what they can do. Carmella's actually gotten a lot better, but you guys wouldn't know that because we don't see her wrestle as much as we should. Whether you're a fan of hers or not, you have got to be tired of seeing Sasha and Bayley and Becky and Charlotte just over and over and over. And Lacey and Natty and Dana. Give me a Sonya Deville. Get her away from Mandy Rose. Do something else. But instead of doing something smart like that, no, you're going to just bury her to Carmella for what? For what? What is this going to do for Carmella? Is she on her way back to a championship match with Bayley? Is she going to be the proverbial number one contender on the babyface side of the females? Why couldn't it have been Sonya Deville? But we're getting new matchups. We're getting fresh faces. All of the promises from 1 year ago that were broken all year long. This show was ridiculous. You brought back Elias. Thanks. To do the same shit he did when he was here the first time. You had this nice long break. You come back from injury. Here's your chance to do something to stand out, different, relaunch. Get him back in the ring. Start getting some wins underneath his belt. But instead you got him coming back singing songs to people. And tonight you had him come back specifically to bury the revival and tell them to have a sex change. Essentially that's what he did. He ran them down in his little Christmas song to the revival. Pretty much telling them to leave. And they'd be better off having a sex change like Caitlyn, like Caitlyn Jenner. First of all, I don't know who writes this show. all of the verbiage on this show tonight was just absolutely dreadful. Even the Daniel Bryan thing when he opened up the show didn't make sense, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But this song was just god awful. And if I'm the Revival, and I'm part of the WWE, and you not only made me lose in a stupid gimmick match for the Christmas holiday season, embarrassing me with food and stupid shit, and then making us lose to Heavy Machinery, and then you have us stand in the ring while we see Lacey Evans in the back, we see Otis and the Adventures of the Ham with Mandy Rose in the back, and all this time they're just standing there waiting to give us the same promo they have given us since day one. Whatever happened to tag team wrestling? Oh, it's wrestling, that's the problem word, and you feel like we're going to get some sort of a half-shoot promo. And in the end, we got Elias coming out, burying them, telling them to go change themselves into women. Let's talk about the Daniel Bryan thing. Daniel Bryan comes out at the beginning. Daniel Bryan has his head shaved and he's all clean shaven. He's got a little scruffy beard like this, not the big long Jesus looking one that we're used to. The Fiend pulled all his hair out. Okay, so wait a minute. As great as this segment was, Daniel Bryan gets everybody hyped, and he's a testament to professional wrestling, and he's also a slap in the face to Vince McMahon, which is what makes me love him even more. Here was the clear cut. Couldn't have been more clear if he was made of crystal. He was the heir apparent to John Cena, to be the face of this company and bring it through the next generation before they ruined everything. And they didn't want to accept that. But look at Daniel Bryan on this episode of the show. He comes back with this whole new look. He don't look nothing like he used to, and the fans don't care. They still love Daniel Bryan. The yes chant is still in full effect, and the crowd just loves this guy. He could literally do anything he wants. He could come out in a mask. He could come out in crazy blue hair. He could just grow one long crazy streak down his face, and nobody will ever say shit. You know why? Because he's Daniel Bryan, and he was the next in line. Not Roman, not Seth. It was Daniel. It was always meant to be Daniel, and this moment that he had tonight proves it. You can't change yourself and go from one end of the spectrum to the other and still have such a connection with the fans and not tell me that that is true. So on that note, I love it. But I hate the stuff they make this guy say. Daniel Bryan wants to say he remembers Bray Wyatt pulling out his hair and pulling out his beard, right? And people have been asking him all week what has happened to him and where he's been. And his answer to this is he's not sure because he doesn't really remember. He doesn't remember where he's been, and he doesn't remember what happened to him. That's the key answers I want you guys to remember. He then goes on to say, I do remember Bray Wyatt pulling out my hair and beard. And when I came to, I don't remember seeing the brand Daniel Bryan. But then I went home, and my daughter was afraid of me, and she cried. Little birdie didn't recognize Dad. So I'm saying to myself, while he's saying all of this stuff, well, then you know where you've been, and you know what happened. You just told us. So that first opening line that they made you deliver was bullshit, was it not? Oh, I don't know what happened to me, I'm not sure. But, when I woke up underneath the ring, my hair was all removed, and I seen my face, and I went home, and blah, blah, blah. You have the story. So just say, well, since I didn't tell anybody, I'm here to tell you guys this is what happened. This is what I remember, and this is what I'm sure of. Daniel Bryan's daughter did not recognize him without his long hair and beard. That's because she doesn't know Daniel Bryan without the brand. However, he remembers, and he recognized himself in the mirror. And here's where the promo started to get really good. He started to talk about how he still had this fire, and he was this completely different version of himself. in this vision of himself, and it was inspiring and it was great. And then came out The Miz, and at first I'm like, oh God, here we go. What the hell are they going to do here? But then they made it interesting. The Miz appealed to Daniel Bryan in a way that I've never seen him appeal to him before. It's clear that they are not friends, and they are not ever going to be friends, but they do have a common enemy right now. And it wasn't about even teaming up and getting at Bray Wyatt. It was simply the fact that The Miz, after losing to Bray Wyatt, still feels he needs to prove himself. He wants to protect his family, and the best way he knows how to get back at Bray Wyatt for all the pain and suffering he's caused him and all of the torment he's given to his wife and his child, and doing what he did in the Miz's house, putting the little dolls in the crib. The Miz knows no better way to hurt Bray Wyatt in return than to take the Universal Championship from him. This is compelling stuff, because now you got Daniel Bryan, who wants to show the world that what Bray Wyatt is saying, how he has trained himself to feel no pain, is a complete crock of BS. And it seems to me like Daniel Bryan is not even really worried about the Universal title. He just wants to kick Bray Wyatt's ass. And now you got The Miz, who wants his revenge for what has taken place, and there's this weird little thing going on. And then, like I said, we're in like maybe 5-10 minutes tops, and it's actually interesting. And I'm like, wow, this could actually go somewhere. And then we have the King come out. King Corbin comes out and shits all over everything. I told you guys initially already what he wanted, what he said, and all it really deserves to get is a big old fat poop hammer. The first of a couple of poop hammer segments on this evening's broadcast in our review for this show, because my God, man, he took the wind and just all of the enthusiasm and everything completely out of this moment. There was nothing that he was going to do or say that was going to make me go, oh, this is about to get good. This is about to get good. And I was actually more concerned, if anything, that Roman Reigns was actually going to come out and now be inserted into this as well, which hasn't happened yet, but expect that to be the case before all is said and done. King Corbin comes out. He's mocking The Miz. He's mocking Daniel Bryan. He tells Daniel Bryan he's a failure. He called him Baby Yoda, and I want to smash this hammer across his face just for mentioning the name of Baby Yoda. How dare you, you piece of trash. Don't you dare talk about my new favorite thing in the whole entire world. Daniel Bryan looks nothing like Baby Yoda. In any case, I would have much rather have gone to the movies to see the final Star Wars movie, but we didn't do that, and instead we stayed home and got treated to Suckdown. I'm going to go see that movie probably tomorrow, but that's neither here nor there. Baron Corbin, don't you dare talk about Baby Yoda, you bastard. Rat bastard. He then started to do what Baron Corbin does, talking about how he beat Kurt Angle, he beat Roman Reigns, yada, yada, yada. Poop hammer all over my earlobes. And he wants his chance at the Universal Championship around the waist of Bray Wyatt. He doesn't care about any of their issues. Next thing you know, Dolph Ziggler shows up and just does what everybody knew was going to happen. Daniel Bryan and The Miz get pissed off because Baron Corbin pretty much called them bad fathers. And now they're going to unite under this we're good dads clause, I guess. But it gets preempted by Dolph Ziggler attacking, getting the upper hand in the scenario, and we get the Teddy Long special. Tonight we're going to have a tag team main event featuring all four of these guys, even though the people in the crowd only want to see 2 out of the 4 of them. After this, we get the Miracle on 34th Street fight. Heavy Machinery defeat the Revival in a match that, like I mentioned in the open, was more about the ham. Right before the matchup, Mandy Rose is in the back. She gets Otis in the Secret Santa. And she knew no better gift to get the big man than a nice big festive Christmas ham. And I'm hoping that it was at least a rum ham. If it was a rum ham, I can understand all the nonsense that took place after the fact. But I doubt it was a rum ham at all. Anyway, she gave him a kiss as well, and Otis was surprised by this. I think a majority of us were surprised by this, and a part of me wants to kind of be like, you know what, yeah, I could deal with Otis and Mandy Rose. Like, maybe this could be interesting, and you can kind of buy it. Because, you know, hot chicks love bigger guys that have a lot of charisma and are funny and are charming, and Otis is all of those things, and it's a thing that actually does happen. It's not that it's not believable. But I want there to be an end game. And I feel like this would be a great thing if Mandy Rose is doing all this and making good with heavy machinery and getting in on Otis and trying to make him feel like he has a shot, only to debut like some new tag team of dudes. You know, maybe call up some team from NXT, maybe Eichner and that other guy, or just have two singles guys that you ain't doing shit with, and just put them together. Mandy Rose, put them together, and then you have like that little faction. It could be Mandy and Sonya and these whatever two guys, and then their first immediate rivals are the Heavy Machinery, and you build these two tag teams off of that. You have the Mandy Rose love triangle thing if you want to do something like that. And then you got Sonya kicking ass on her own, but still part of the whole thing. That's an interesting way to go about it. I could do with a lot less of these, it's Christmas time, let's just break a lot of Christmas stuff matches, and let's, you know, destroy some Christmas food. You didn't want to destroy the KFC, but it's totally okay to destroy cookies and ham on tonight's SmackDown. Cookies and ham. Oh my God. This is what they gave me. I can't. This is what I got to talk about. I got to talk about cookies and ham. I don't want to talk to you guys about cookies and ham. This ain't a goddamn Food Network show. I ain't giving you guys the Great Holiday Bacon Challenge or any shit like that. We're supposed to be talking about wrestling, but we're talking about fucking cookies and ham. There were table spots, there was trees being thrown around, and none of it was any good. I didn't really care at all. Michael Cole was trying to put it over like this was one of the greatest matches he's ever seen, and he's just an absolute goofball. This is the same guy on this night that wanted to tell Corey Graves, oh, well, maybe Bayley, you know, should prove that she could beat Dana Brooke on her own. And I'm like, idiot, weren't you there last week? Didn't you call the match when Sasha Banks was off doing her thing, recording her own little rap album, and Bayley was by herself and she got the win over Dana Brooke without any help? And you want to sit there and pretend like that never happened? Oh, she should prove that they were... Fucking idiot. And this match, oh, this is one of the coolest matches. Oh. All the drama, all the expletives. Oh, cookies and ham. After the match, we see Lacey Evans backstage with the ladies and her little daughter. We also see Otis celebrating his victory with the ham. He had to make sure to go and get the ham, which he gave to Corey Graves to be safe, and it was not safe throughout the entirety of the match, but he went back and got the ham. He wanted to apologize to Mandy Rose about what he had allowed to happen to this friggin' ham, and we're still talking about the ham. And then Otis gets a hug from Mandy Rose, and then Mandy backs away because he was all covered in disgusting sweat from having a match, and then she seems to be disgusted by the sweat, and I'm sitting here like, honey, you seen the man, right? You are the one that went in for the hug. You were like, yeah, don't worry about the ham. It's cool. I see your greasy body. I see you're wet and disgusting, and that you have this half-ripped apart ham. But I'm going to go in for the hug. And then after the hug, when I'm covered in your meat sweat juice, and then I walk away, I'm going to look like I'm completely grossed out and disgusted. Now, if she was genuine about her feelings towards Otis and, you know, her holiday feelings, whatever, or trying to be festive and merry, you certainly wouldn't have walked away in such disgust. Which is what leads me to believe that maybe there's some sort of a different, more devious endgame down the line with this whole Mandy Rose Otis thing, and I feel like that's the best case scenario in this case. Throughout all of this nonsense, as we mentioned, the Revival were standing in the ring. They then complained about being in gimmick matches and wanted to know what happened to tag team wrestling and why the joke always seems to be on them. And gentlemen, that's because you decided to agree to go to the main roster. That's the only reason all of this stuff is happening to you. If you would have stayed in NXT, you would have been just fine. I know you're kind of powerless in that scenario at some point, but hey, maybe just go back home and you'll be just fine. Elias came out. He ran them down. He mocked them, told them to get sex changes and to go away, which was just awful. And then we go to more awfulness from Suckdown on this Friday night before Christmas. This was not on my Christmas list at all. If you would have asked me, what are some of the matches that you would want for Christmas? One of them would not have been Braun Strowman versus Shinsuke Nakamura. But we get Sami Zayn in the back. He's talking to Braun Strowman about Christmas. I stopped listening. I don't know what they were arguing about. Next thing I know, Braun Strowman's standing up. He's yelling like a big brown snowman that he wants maybe a shot at the Intercontinental Championship. And that's not anywhere on my Christmas wish list. Braun Strowman, the Intercontinental Champion? Braun Strowman versus Shinsuke Nakamura. This is none of those things I think are on anybody's Christmas wish list. I don't even think it's on Braun's Christmas wish list. Shit, man. Who asked for that? Braun Strowman, apparently. Then we go to the ring. We got Carmella defeating Sonya Deville in a practical squash match, and you all know how I feel about that already. We touched upon it pretty heavily. This was ridiculous. This was and unnecessary, and I don't understand the direction in which they feel they need to go here. After this match, where Carmella beats Sonya Deville, we see another Sheamus vignette, which is exactly like the same one we seen last week and the week before that and the week before that. And I'm saying, if you're not going to at least change what the man's saying, change the visual at least. We just keep seeing him impersonating Aleister Black, standing in the dark, talking to nobody, accusing everybody on SmackDown of being soft. He's going to come save the soul of SmackDown. Great. Great, Shamey. Come on over and save us. Stop talking to no one in the dark. Please, bro. Do something already. The SmackDown Tag Team Champions, The New Day, were going up against Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro in a non-title matchup. I don't know why that needed to be a stipulation, especially if The New Day were going to end up winning anyway, but this matchup was actually very good. Of all the matchups on this night, I think I enjoyed this one the most. It was just surprising to me how good it was. I guess, at the action in the main event, it was Daniel Bryan. Anything that Daniel Bryan did was kind of cool. You love Daniel Bryan, so you're into it. But as far as a full match goes, I think I enjoyed this one. Even though it made no sense to even be having, these guys already had a matchup. We've seen Shinsuke and Cesaro beat the New Day already, and why weren't they given a tag team title opportunity now that we're thinking about it? It's just kind of silly. And then after the matchup, after the New Day secure the victory, the three heels beat them down. Beat down the New Day. All for Big Braun the Snowman to come out and ruin everybody's holiday festivities, get involved, splash Shinsuke Nakamura, run Cesaro over like a freight train. Sami Zayn would get them out of there before the damage got too bad, and that would be the end of that. We go to the back and we got The Miz and Daniel Bryan doing the very same segment we've seen them pulling off with Charlotte and Becky Lynch. The whole, I don't like you, but I don't like you. No, I don't like you, bro. No, I don't like you more than you don't like me. No, nobody likes you more than I like me, and this is how many likes I like in the like world, and you don't like nobody. Same shit, just two different people, because the creative staff has no other way to get their thoughts across. We had this great idea. How can we reword it to be different? How can we do something different? Screw it. We'll just do the same old stuff, because that's what we do here in the WWE. It may have been entertaining given the two gentlemen involved, but think about it. It's the same thing. We're not friends, but we're going to be a tag team to do this one thing. That's exactly what's going on with the women of Raw lately. But it's okay now, because we're doing it here, so you guys are going to think I'm going to let it just get a pass. Oh, it was so funny. It was Daniel and... No, man. Same shit. They recycle the same segments over and over, and they expect us not to notice. And if you didn't realize it, then good on you for coming here, because now you know, and knowing is half the battle. SmackDown Women's Champion Bayley with Sasha Banks in tow. I hate Sasha Banks' new theme song, by the way. It just does not have like a flow to it, and I'm just not feeling it. Bayley's new theme song is alright. She shows up to defeat Brayna. That's what she does to my Brayna. Dana destroys my Brayna and makes me make errors like that because I don't even want to be talking about it. The only person in the world that has any interest in Dana Brooke right now is apparently Dave Bautista. So why don't you let her go and be with him and get her off TV, because I don't understand the reasoning for this matchup. She asked for this matchup on Twitter, so they gave it to her. So why isn't everybody asking for matches on Twitter? Maybe we'll get better cards. No, we'll get random rematches from just 7 days ago that I'm sure we're going to see again, somehow in another form, maybe in a tag team encounter, the way they let all this unfold before your eyes. That's what's going to come next. Sasha and Bayley versus Lacey and Dana. That's how they create things. That's WWE booking. That should be their official noise. Not that cool little, then, now, and forever. It should be the WWE logo. Even Corey Graves went out there right on national TV. Oh, well, Bayley beat Dana Brooke last week. So why did this makes no sense to be having this match right now? And I'm like, well, good on you, Corey Graves. At least you said exactly what I'm thinking. After the match, Bayley gets the pin, of course. After the matchup, excuse me, Sasha Banks gets in the ring. They start yelling in Dana Brooke's face, which prompts Lacey Evans to come out and bam, bam. I'm a good girl now. I don't know why, no. They won't explain it on TV. Bam, bam. Cappy and mothballs. Bam. I don't understand. I don't know why she's a good guy now. Nobody wants to tell us. They just want to tell us she's a Marine, and that's supposed to... Oh, she's a Marine, so she's a soldier. So that's the reason why she's great. That's the reason why she's the good girl now. Alright, whatever. Let's get past it. But this turns into Lacey Evans versus Sasha Banks. Lacey Evans wants to call out Sasha Banks, and then we come back from commercial break and we have this impromptu matchup, which is now the third women's matchup on this night, and I think maybe there's been a total of 7 minutes of action between the two matchups. I may be a little bit exaggerating there, but what I'm saying is all of this stuff was short and it didn't really do much. The Lacey Evans-Sasha Banks encounter only started heating up, as we already mentioned, when Sasha Banks took Lacey Evans by the hair, brought her over to the barricade where her daughter was sitting with her husband, and then started to taunt the little girl, telling her, this is your mommy, and all this stuff, and the little girl was getting all crazy and was like swiping at Sasha. I feel like she was in on it. Do you feel like she was in on it? I feel like the little girl was in on it. And I think that kind of takes away from it. Not because she's performed badly or whatever, but it just didn't feel as genuine as it did when Sasha was making the little girls cry in NXT. Like, these were girls that were actually just fans. They weren't sons or daughters of some NXT superstar on the back. So when Sasha Banks broke Izzy's glasses or pulled her Bayley bow out of her head or whatever it is that she did, it was genuine and it made the little girl cry. Here I feel like there was an encounter backstage where they were like, okay, little girl, check this out. You're going to be in the front row and mom's going to get her ass beat. And well, they obviously didn't use these words to the little girl. But we want you to get mad at Sasha. And you could try to hit her and, whatever. And be mad at Sasha for anything she does to mommy. But we promise you mommy's going to be just fine. Some sort of a conversation like that took place. And I'm only saying this because there were times where I felt like this little girl was left. Felt like she had a little smirk, and I feel like her little tacky swipes were, she was playing. Like, I feel like if my daughter seen that happening to her mother, she would probably go absolutely redonkulously crazy or something and, would be like uncontrollable. I don't know. It just felt a little bit disingenuous. So that would just mean that the girl was in on it. And it maybe would have been a lot more effective had she not have been. And am I being insensitive? No, I'm not picking on a little girl. I'm just saying that watching the segment, I feel like maybe she might have been in on the joke. Otherwise, it was fine. It was absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with it. And it was actually a reason for us now to maybe try to get behind Lacey Evans versus Sasha Banks going forward. This is going to be a focal point of it. Lacey's going to be pissed off about what happened tonight. I don't want to see the involvement of Dana Brooke. We don't need this to turn into women's tag team stuff. It just needs to be Sasha and Lacey, and then let's go. Build Lacey Evans as a babyface off of this. Continue to let Sasha go down that heel trail, and she will only get bigger and better with time with this. And it's fine. Lacey Evans recovered. Sasha and Bayley ran off. Dana Brooke was in the ring, yammering on with her, and that was the end of this segment, which brought us to the main event. Daniel Bryan and The Miz defeating King Corbin and Dolph Ziggler in a very good tag team matchup. I mean, Daniel Bryan is so good that he makes guys like Baron Corbin look good when he wrestles them. Dolph Ziggler I have absolutely no interest in. My confusion with this match comes in the finish of it all. The Miz gets Dolph Ziggler to tap out to a figure 4 leg lock. That's the end of this match. That was the finish. Daniel Bryan came out of nowhere, swiped Baron Corbin with a knee as he was trying to break it up, but Dolph Ziggler tapped out in the middle of the ring without much struggle, without trying to get to a rope, without anything whatsoever. And The Miz gets the win for his team here, which I guess is going to give him leverage going forward, as he's going to claim, well, I won that match for us, so I should automatically be the number one contender, even though they've already announced there's going to be the triple threat for next week's show. But the key thing here to me was the show going off the air 3 minutes before 10 p.m. And I don't know if they were trying to make up for going over on the other show the other night, but that's the other network, so why would it have made a difference? But here you have 3 full minutes where you begin the lights going out for Bray Wyatt. And you don't even show him. I mean, you could have went off the air with him at least coming to the stage and laughing at everybody who are sitting there fighting over an opportunity at his championship. Show the Universal title. Show him on the Titantron. Show something. But instead we hear him laugh and we go off the air. And I may be okay with that if it went off the air at 10 p.m. But you had 3 full minutes. That is a lot of time. They give us sometimes a whole match in 3 minutes. They couldn't have let this go 3 minutes longer, come up with something to get you to 10 p.m. so that the show can go off the air on time, and fans like me can't sit here going, they went off the air too early. As soon as they showed something interesting, they decided to end the show. 3 minutes? That's a long-ass time. That's a lot of TV time that you wasted on nothing. Why? So you don't spoil something for next week? What could possibly be happening next week? Is next week going to kick off exactly where we ended this week? Is it going to be a complete continuation of the show? I don't think so. Nobody thinks so, because that would be stupid. Unless they're going to let us know, oh no, well, we filmed the second show immediately after. I mean, we all know this already. We know we're getting a taped episode of Smackdown next week. But what did they do tonight? Nothing. We are exactly in the same spot we were when we started the show. The fallout from TLC is minimal to none. Roman Reigns didn't even appear on this show tonight, so I guess Baron Corbin and company beat him so bad on Sunday that he couldn't get his ass to work on Friday. Now all of a sudden, Roman's selling injuries. The same guy that took like 15,000 Brock Lesnar spears and then showed up on Monday Night Raw the next day. Next week, the final SmackDown of the year will feature Bryan, Corbin, and Miz in a triple threat to see who will be the number one contender for the Fiend's Universal Championship. And that was the last live edition of Friday Night Suckdown for 2019. And we're changing things up here in the future. We are going to continue to be the most entertaining place that you come and get your wrestling news and reviews from. we're going to start moving away from using all the imagery. A lot of you guys know that we've been having copyright strike problems and whatnot, and hopefully that does not continue to happen. If this show does get taken down from YouTube, continue to follow us on the audio platforms. That would be Spotify, Stitcher Radio should be back up working, and also Podbean, and of course iTunes. Wherever it is you decide to stream your audio, we should be there. And if we're not there, let us know, and maybe I can put it there. This way we have another outlet that we can get your new favorite wrestling show out to the masses and continue to grow this show as much as we possibly can. You guys are everything to me. I cannot thank you enough for being here. Hopefully this video even goes up. I don't know what's going on with YouTube. I'm suspended. I'm not suspended. I don't know. But the Raw review re-upload went up. We're going to try to put this one up right now. Hopefully all goes the way it should. And don't forget to support this channel in the absolute best ways possible, and those ways are to smash that thumbs up, especially if you had a good time tonight. I know a lot of you guys are always there for me, hitting your thumbs up, making the Sledgehammer Wrestling crew the #1 crew in all of the YouTube wrestling community. You could share this video with each and every one of your wrestling buddies all over the wrestling world, especially if they need to see how much of Smackdown tonight was actually a suckdown. And then, most importantly, if you are still here at the 41-minute mark and you enjoyed yourself and you are not already a member of the Sledgehammer family that we have been growing here for the last 2 years, now is the time to hit that subscribe button, as we are taking over in 2020, one subscriber at a time, and it starts with you. We are rising fast, and we should be even bigger than we are right now. And I don't know why we aren't, but I am much appreciative of all 2,000 plus of you guys that come to me whenever it is you do to get your fix of the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. This is way more entertaining than you wasting 2 hours or 3 hours of a Monday or a Friday. Spend a little bit of time with me. I'll let you know everything important, but most importantly, I'll let you know everything wrong, because that's what we focus on here. We didn't do AEW this week, and it's only because of my work schedule with the holidays. My work schedule is freaking ridiculous. So if Monday Night Raw this week as well is a little bit late, please guys forgive me. I might be stuck really late at work on Monday, and I will do my best to get my Monday Night Raw review up to you guys as soon as I am even able to watch it. As far as I know right now, everything is a go, and I should be here as usual. But if not, don't fret. Don't fret. As long as the channel is still here, you can guarantee that we will be here with your Monday Night Raw review at some point during next week's holiday festivities. I'm hoping you guys all have a fantastic holiday weekend and holiday week. For sure, I know you guys all have your own things going on. I'm sure you won't be here for each and every upload, but when you guys do, make sure that you do hit that thumbs up and share each and every one of these videos. It's a great way to support this channel. Another way, if you can, is to get your hands on some gear. Thank you so much to everybody who has already purchased the Sledgehammer logo t-shirt, and especially the guys who have purchased the Poop Hammer t-shirts. All of you who have bought a t-shirt during this campaign as we are trying to end 2019 in the biggest way. I love you more than you will ever know. It's so humbling and so awesome to me that some of you guys will support me in that way, and that you'll take your money that you earn, you bust your ass for, and you're proud to be a part of this show. And you are all a part of this show, whether you know it or not. That's what the comment section is for. And my show, yeah, it's my show, but without all of you guys, as I like to tell you, I'm just an idiot wrestling fan screaming into a camera to pretty much nobody. So you just mean everything to me, and let's close out this year having a safe and happy Merry Christmas. I will see you guys next week before the new year closes out with all of the end of the year bullshit shows, and maybe a little special or something in between if all continues to go as smoothly as it's been going. Knock on wood. My name is Nick Nightmare. This is the team, Thor the Sledgehammer, the official Sledgehammer of the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, his tag team partner, the World Heavyweight Champion of all the microphones in all the world, and I'm covering up the logo just so I don't have any bullshit problems. I don't know what it is. I still have no idea what it is. But you see the cool button there, as Stone Cold is stunning the shit out of Santa in one of the best wrestling Christmas segments ever. As opposed to the shit ones here. Now they just ruined my whole outro. But you know who this man is. This is Blue, the Snowball Microphone, the World Heavyweight Champion of all the microphones in all the world. The most important member of the team, as always, is each and every one of you guys. That, my friends, is going to do it. And we are out of here. And we will see you next time right here on your new favorite wrestling show, the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, only on Sledgehammer TV, right here on YouTube.com. Merry Christmas.